those gardens, there's ayn, springs. And ayn, literally water springs, jariyah, flowing. What this tells us, already we know it's a high garden. And in this garden now Allah says there's a spring. In other words, you're on top of a waterfall. The spring is coming and it's falling down, subhanAllah. Look at the contrast. What did the kafir get? تُسْقَى مِنْ عَيْنٍ آنِيَةٍ. SubhanAllah. They are given boiling water forced on their face. And here you have, on the contrast, you have this believer in the height of paradise, enjoying this beautiful scene, including a waterfall that comes with it. I was telling you, you go to these really, really exotic, expensive hotels, like you go to the Grand Hyatt in Grand Central in New York City, right? Or some of the biggest hotels in LA. One of their features is they have waterfalls, simulation type things in the lobby of the hotel. So when you walk in, you go, wow, this is like, take a picture next to that, right? You go to some of the hotels and they want to make you feel like, relaxed because travelers are stressed. You know how they make you feel relaxed? They put water fountains there. The simulation of water pouring and falling. You go to some of the most luxurious places in the world where people think this is the life. You go to Vegas, what do you see? I don't go to Vegas, but I'm saying, right? Right. All these fountains of water. Human obsession with decorating life with water, with beautiful water. If you can't build one, I know people that, if they own mansions, they're in the desert out in Texas or Nevada or whatever, they don't have water there, so what do? They build themselves an artificial waterfall and the water's falling and this, there's this human obsession. And this is thousands of years old, but it's still going on in our head. We still have this in our head today. أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ. Doesn't he know who he created? He knows pretty well how he designed us. These things don't leave our system. Back in the day it was a real waterfall, now it's a nice faucet and a nice jacuzzi and all of that. Swimming pool in the back. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So فِيهَا عَيْنٌ جَارِيَةٌ, flowing water. And one of the things about Quran and speaking about water that flows, when it flows it's fresh, right? But when it stands it becomes stale. So there's one place in Quran where Allah mentions water that doesn't flow. In Jannah. He says, فِيهَا أَنْهَارٌ مِّن مَاءٍ. He says there are rivers full of water. Then you figure, Allah did not mention Jariyah. Like for Jannah He says, تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ, it's flowing. So here in Surah Muhammad He says it's not flowing. It just says they're rivers, they're full of water, right? But then He says, لَمْ يَتَغَيَّرْ طَعْمُهُ, whose taste doesn't change. Meaning the water doesn't go stale. SubhanAllah. When He doesn't mention flowing, He still lets you know it's not going to go bad. Right? And this is part of the sensitivity of the language of the Quran. فِيهَا سُرُرٌ مَرْفُوعَةٌ. Sarir in modern Arabic is a bed. But in ancient Arabic it's not a bed. It's really a couch. A couch that you recline on, that you sit on. Only rich people had it. Usually Arab tradition, everything was on the floor. If you go to a traditional Saudi, Kuwaiti, Khaliji family, or a traditional Yemeni family even today, even the ones that are well off, right? Big, huge house. Furnished to the teeth, but where are you going to sit? On the floor. Everything's on the floor, right? It's part of the tradition from desert life. Because, the Bedouin was always traveling. He can't exactly carry an IKEA couch on his back, right? Because that's going to be difficult. So they chill on the floor. It's a relaxed kind of setting, right? But those who were very wealthy and had forts and they were established, they didn't have to live the Bedouin life, now they can have these high beds or high couches designed for themselves. This was a sign of stability. This was a sign of you're not going anywhere. You're not a Bedouin who has to travel. Jannah, Allah is offering us what? Stability. He's offering us stability. No matter how much you decorate your home in this life, no matter how well, how durable you think the material is, the granite top kitchen and the custom shelves and this fixture in the bathroom and that fencing and this and that, does it all go bad in the end? Yeah, somebody came 30 years before you and did the same thing and it went bad, right? But Allah Azza wa Jal, He gives us these high, lofty couches. And then the word marfu'a is an ism maf'ul, it's an objective noun. What that means is elevate, that which has been elevated. In other words, when you use the objective noun, what it implies is that somebody did it for you. Somebody did it for you. You know how you say custom made? Custom made. It means somebody made it for you. So marfu'a, Allah actually engaged in the interior decor of your palace where He elevated your seat. And this sarir, this couch, nowadays, I'll give you parallel. Why is this appealing? You say, I could sit on a low couch too, it's all good. Already the garden is high. Now, people in high executive offices, if their office usually has what with it? An amazing view, right? And their seats are a little bit higher. People in a position of authority, like a judge, has a higher seat than everybody else. A presiding officer, a ceremony that is being presided, where does the person sit? in a higher place than everybody else. The idea of sitting up somewhere where you can see what you own. You can see the property, right? You can enjoy. People like sitting out in, their sunrooms or whatever, because now they can see everything around them, right? This is the idea. In interior decoration, if you study interior decoration, you learn a lot about human nature, which Allah talks about anyway. They want you to put the couch in a place in your living room where you could see the whole house. It gives you a sense of space, because it's strategically placed. So surur marfu'a, they've been elevated in this way. So when you sit on them, you see the vast acreage that Allah has offered you. Subhanallah. Surur marfu'a. Wa akwabun. And by the way, this is not my opinion. This is again from Al-Lusi rahimahullah in Ruh al-Ma'ani. He says, رفعها رافع عظيم في السمك وهو جهة العلو ليرى الجالس عليها جميع ملكه. So that the sitter can see everything that he owns. He can see it, sit there and go, wow, yeah, I made it. This is nice. He sits back and it's nice. And even in this dunya, you can set your home up really nice, but you know what happens when you work so hard to get a beautiful home? You never get to enjoy it. Your living room's been sitting there, the only time it gets used is when some guest comes. Right? You don't get to enjoy it. You just go, you're cleaning, vacuuming, fixing this and that. And you have to do everything yourself. Allah says, marfu'a. Not rafi'a, not just elevated, it has been elevated for you. It's been done for you. Then wa akwabun mawdu'a. Kub or kaub in Arabic is a cup that doesn't have handles. So it's large glasses, and they're designed as they're slender in the middle, in the neck, and then they're wider on top. So kind of like champagne glasses nowadays, right? And so those glasses, they have a history, like exotic drinks, right? Now Allah says, akwabun mawdu'a. They have already been placed. In other words, your dining table's already been set, the serving table, and mawdu'a means lowered. In other words, a waiter comes, and he lowers the glass and puts it right in front of you. You don't even have to, you're already sitting on your chair, right? You don't want to get up. So the drink is brought and it's put before you. It's put down. Mawdu'a from wada', to place. It has been put down for you. And the ism form, tuda', right? Or tuda' or wudi'at. Allah didn't use the verbal form. Why? Because you will drink and another will be placed. You will drink, another will be placed. They will constantly be placed for you. Mawdu'a. Again, I was reminded of this. When you go to these exotic restaurants, they hang the glasses and they leave glasses on the tables as part of their decor. Like cheap restaurants don't do that. Like a fast food place is not going to have glasses on the table. But an expensive restaurant is going to leave the glasses on the table. And they're going to show glasses displayed in their bar or whatever. And this is their idea of showing exotic and expensive, right? And so Allah Azza wa Jal gives us the scene that for thousands of years has lasted in human civilization. SubhanAllah. Thousands of years, and we're still in the same place. وَنَمَارِقُ مَصْفُوفَةً. And then these cushions. Namariq is wisada saghira, Lisan al-Arab said. It's a small pillow, small cushion, which sitting on your couch, but it's not quite adjusted. You want to put a pillow over here, right? And it's just right. So Allah says masfufa, rows and rows and rows of pillows. Rows and rows of just tons and tons and tons of pillows. So you're basically jumping around and going crazy, right? You're just enjoying yourself. Everywhere you look, there's relaxation. And then he adds, وَزَرَابِيُّ مَبْثُوثًا. These expensive, elegant rugs, area rugs, you call them nowadays, right? Zarabi really, Al-Farra says that they are made of delicate fibers, that they're made of expensive, rugs. I told you I used to live in New York City. One of the most common retail space in New York City is like exotic rugs, right? So you have like Merrill Lynch, and then you have exotic rugs, right? And you have whatever. Exotic rugs are all over the city, all over. And why do they have them there? Who's buying them? The most, top level execs for their offices. They want to get these exotic rugs for their mansions, for their lofts, for their penthouses, right? The idea of having an exotic rug, it's the centerpiece of your home. You want to show people this was stitched in Persia or this or that or the other, right? Now Allah says mabthutha. They're spread all as far as the eye can see. You see all these different beautiful area rugs. Just all over. So cushions and just a massive, massive, massive living room for you to chill in. How many area rugs in our living rooms? Right? How many couches? How many cushions? Allah is offering us, subhanAllah, that which to this day we run after. To this day, when you want to get yourself a home, you look for a high elevation, you look for a garden, you look for a nice kitchen, you want to decorate it beautifully when you eat, you want it to look nice, subhanAllah. Allah gives us all of these things that are innate in human nature. وَزَرَابِيُّ مَبْثُوثًا. Now the subject turns.